Hello, welcome again to our class. Now, when it comes to inserting data in a table, how do we insert data? We insert using the keyword insert, as shown by the code that we are seeing here. We have insert into, then students. We have registration number, student name, sex, course name. This can be our course code, and then year of birth. Now, remember, one thing you must understand is that when it comes to values that you want to add, they must match the order of the columns as you've set them. Just a moment. Let me try to do an highlight here. Now, here we have registration number, student name, course code, sex and course code, and then year of birth. So I'm saying this must match that. This must match that. This matches that, and then we have that one to that, and then year of birth matching that. So the order of arrangement is very important. As you have arranged the columns that you want to enter data into, so these values that you are selecting here must match that particular order. Otherwise, you'll get an error. Now, that's one way that we can be able to, this is one way that we can be able to enter data. Now, we have another way where you can basically just say insert into students, and then you do not specify, you don't specify the attributes, you just go straight away and define or give the data that will be stored in that particular table. Now, this is more applicable when you are choosing to enter data into all columns. If you know that you're going to enter data into all columns that we have in that particular table, then there is no need for you to be mentioning the columns that you're going to enter data into. So that's another way that you can do it. That's why we're saying input in form of string, texts, varchar are entered with quotes. Now you can see another thing we're saying is this. Like if you look at year of birth, you can see where we have year of birth. Year of birth, we said, would be more like integer value. And that is why you can see here, it has no quotes. But the other values, since they are varchar, strings, texts, they must be entered with quotes. Now, how do we enter data? We say basically we use the keyword insert. So we can say insert, and we insert into, you specify now the name of the table, which is students, and then using the first approach, we specify we're going to enter to the reg number. We are also going to enter to student name, then add data to sex column, date of registration, we say that is timestamp, therefore we are not interested in that, and therefore we go to year of birth. And then based on this particular arrangement, we also have the course code. Remember, this is course code, not course name. And then you close that. Then we say the values. What are the values that we're going to enter into that? Example, using the examples that we have, we can say SEU10 as the first one for the registration number. Then we can talk of Philip Jones as the second one. Then according to this, we have the gender. We have male for Philip, and then we have year of birth, assuming the year of birth is 1987. Remember, we said for year of birth, we don't enter quotes. 1987 without quotes, but we have the course code there. Course code, we can specify the course code to be something like maybe BC BCS maybe 10, and must be within quotes now. And then we can close that. And the last thing that we need to do now is basically to terminate. There, says query okay, and that means it has worked. So how can we be able to see whether we've been able to enter this data? Basically select, then you can say all from students. Yeah, there it is. It has worked. We've been able to add data. Now the next thing we need to look at is how to enter multiple records at once. We have just been able to enter one, but assuming we wanted to enter more than one records, how do we go about that? I mean, do we have to, every time we are adding data, do we have to say insert into student, and then we specify for a single record, and then we press enter, and then again insert into student for another record, and so on? Now, we can avoid that by using different rows where we have the values. Like here, we're saying this is the first record. This line is for the first record. Then we can have another line for the second record, and another one for the third record, and so on. But one thing you need to note is that we are separating here with a comma, But once we get to enter the last record, what we do is we terminate with a semicolon. So let's see how that's going to work. Now here we are. We can be able to say insert into, that's what we are working with. Next, we can get the values. We can use the previous code that we have just written. We can see where was values. See, by going up and down, we are able to fetch all the codes that you are able to enter. However, if you cannot find the code, yeah, it is there. That was for the first one. Now, what we can basically do is make changes to it. Maybe we say 11. You can say that's 11. We can say this is Jane. And then this will be female. And then your birth could be something totally different. We can say it may be 89. And maybe they are taking the same course. We can enter. Again, the same, we can change this to 12. And then maybe we can talk of Tom. Tom Peters, yeah. Just pick some fictitious names there, and then Tom is male, and then the year of birth for Tom could be I could be taking a different course, maybe BCB 210. Let's use 220. Let's use the same formats, because we say the year of code should, the course code should have a limit of 5. Let's try to remember that. Assuming we have another record. See, we are separating with commas. Maybe that's 13, and the name can be something like Andrew. Andrew Miles, okay. Date of birth could be 90. Course, maybe he's also taking the same course as Tom. And therefore, since this is the last record, what we do is we terminate and then we press enter. Oh, we are having an error there. Let's see, where is this error coming from? Oh, I get it. Sorry. Let's terminate. Let's do this. Let's do this afresh. So you want to say insert. Then you get to the values. And then you enter. Where is the 12th one? So there is no need for you to say values here again. So we just end it there. We don't say values again. We get to the other one for 13. Where is the other one? Last 13th record. Yeah, there it is. And then you remove the word values. Yeah, once you've done that, you can now enter and the query is okay. Now let's look at the records that you have just entered. Just type it, select all from students. There. So there it is. So having demonstrated how you can be able to enter that particular, multiple records at once with a single SQL statement. Now you've seen it has worked, and we caught an error there, and the error was repeating values. So basically you mention values once. Once you mention values once, the rest you just provide the data to those particular columns without having to mention values again. Now, to view the data that you've already entered into your database, you basically use select. That is, you can say select all from students. The asterisk there means you're going to select all the columns as we have done. Select, and then we have our asterisk from. That means all from table students. There. What if you do not wish to select all? Perhaps you wish to just select the names of all students that we have in that particular in this particular table. Select, then student name. You must mention the column that you wish to fetch data from. Student name from, what is the name of the table? Students. There it is, code for a single column. Again, perhaps we wanted the student names and the gender. How do we write that code? Let's look at it. Select student name. You separate it using a comma, and then sex from. The name of the table is students, and then you terminate, press enter. There, it is giving you what you want. Wanted to even get the course code. How do we get it? So it's the same statement, is only that we have an additional, just a moment, we have an additional column that we are calling course code. Sorry, let me describe the table so that we can get the exact name. Describes students. There, this course code. Course code. Select all. Okay, let's do the SQL statement again. Select student name. Then we have course code. Let's make sure you've used the correct spellings, course code. Then from students. This one should work now. Yeah, you can specify exactly the kind of data you wish to fetch from a table. Now, that's what we're saying, selecting specific fields. You can be able to specify by you name the field. That is, you name the field or the attribute that you wish to select. Like here we have registration number. We also wish to check student name. We also wish to check the year of birth. Now, it will fetch based on the kind of arrangement that you've given it here. Like what I'm saying is this. Let's go back to SQL terminal. And see, we've been writing, like if we do that code that way, look at the arrangement of the attributes. It's based on what I've given here, but I can make that change. I can change to, maybe I want sex to begin, and then I also want, or maybe let's start with the course code, then sex, and then then now we can delete the rest. We don't need to repeat. So now we want course code, sex, and student name, that particular kind of arrangement there. So how you get the data displayed is based on the how you have arranged the attributes or the columns in your SQL statement. So that's why I was saying it will output based on the arrangement of attributes as you have there in your SQL statement. Now, you can be able to select a specific record. Like here we have select all from students where registration number is SEU10. We only want that particular record. Like example, maybe we've come across a registration number, we do not know the name of this particular student or the course this student is taking, and would wish to know more about who this registration number has been assigned to. How do we go about that? Let's see. Now we use the keyword where. Now let's look at that. Now first let's just select, we can say select all from table students where. Now we have a where keyword, where reg number is equals to registration number. Remember it had quotes. Maybe we want BCB 20. Let's see, select all from, sorry, we don't repeat the name of the table. There. Now it tells us it is empty. We do not have BCB 20. Is that so that we do not have BCB 20? Now we have a repetition of BCB 20 there. That value has been entered twice. How comes? Let's try a different one and see if we are going to get an output. So empty. Where reg number? Oh, yeah, that is true, because what we are seeing up here, this is not registration number, this is course code. We do not have a student with this particular registration number. Now, we're supposed to be working with SEU. Let's select everything just to remember, to remind ourselves what is in the database in our table. Let's select all from students. Now, just to refresh our memories on the kind of registration numbers we have in here. So it is SEU. Now assuming we went SEU and then 10, how do we go about it? Let's see. We select all from, what is the name of the table, is students where reg number would be equal to what? Maybe SEU 11. We should know who's the owner of that registration number. There it is. Just selected a single record. There we have a single record. Now again, maybe we wish to select, would wish to interrogate the database and get a list of all students who are female. So basically just talk of the column where sex is equals to maybe female. There. You only have one record, and there it is. What about for male? There, we have two. There are actually three. We have Philip Jones, we have Tom Peters, and then we have Andrew Miles. There. That's what we have. Select all from students where sex is equals to male, 3 records. For SEU10, SEU12, and SEU13. So those are 3 records, and 1 for female. Having seen how that statement is executed in SQL, let's move on. Now here where we wish to select all from students where year of birth is equals to 1985, and now we are introducing another clause here, and we're saying and or. Now let's try that. From students where maybe where you can say sex is equals to male and it's male and reg number is SEU13. I mean, if it is just sex is equals to male, then we are going to get all the records that have sex as male. But now we have an additional clause where we are saying and registration number is equals to SEU13. Let's see. That one gives us only a single record. Tells us that that is Andrew Miles. So is the one who's able to satisfy that particular SQL statement. Now let's add or. Or here we can probably say or reg number is equals to SEU12. There, now it has given us 2 records. We have where gender is male and registration number is SEU13 or SEU12. Now we've been able to get 12 different, we've been able to get 2 records from that particular database.